Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from our space. My girlfriend, 30 female, wanted to be friends with the other guy, 33 male, all dating me, 33 male. This has become an emotional affair with technicalities. I'm destroyed. I, 33 male, broke up with my girlfriend, 30 female, of 1.5 years of dating for this. We began seeing each other back in the summer of 2020. We were casually dating others and aware of this. About 10 months into us, she revealed that she had broken up with her other guy, Eric, 33 male, that she had been seeing. She also coincidentally told me she was in love with me. Cool, me too. We grew more close and intimate. We started talking, half-jokingly, about the future, marriage, kids. She claimed to have never wanted kids or marriage before meeting me. About a month later, she told me she had been hanging out with Eric platonically. She also told me the circumstances of her dumping him. Essentially, he hadn't been giving her attention, had stood her up, and she had confronted him about it. He told her he couldn't prioritize her as much over the person he was also seeing and growing closer to, and she wouldn't be respecting herself if she stayed. But he was still okay with hooking out. To me, this felt like he had given her the privilege, grace, to dump him. She claimed they talked about it and decided to remain friends, but not before she was able to yell at him about things. Now, I'm okay with ex's old flings. Had met and hung out with hers a few times, no issue, all great dudes. But to me, considering the timeline and overlap of our relationship, the quick turnaround from dating to friends, and her admitting that Eric had caused for some heartache, it felt like she was only remaining friends with him because she still had feelings and wanted to save her ego and to keep that door open. As well, for telling me she loved me right after their breakup, made me doubt her feelings for me and feel more like a rebound. She also claimed she'd only started dating him so she wouldn't smother me and scare me off, because she liked me so much. Again, doubt. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I've met someone I really like, I don't go seeking other distractions. This started to leave me uncomfortable, and whenever I raised it, she got extremely defensive about their friendship. She also revealed that they had cuddled sometimes, and he had once made a pass at her, to which she told him not to again as it violated boundaries. I told her he should have been dropped immediately for disrespecting their friendship, her, me, our relationship, and I was not okay with this. One of the last straws was eventually admitting that she had told him that I was uncomfortable with their relationship. What and the holy F? Who that F embarrasses their partner like that? How am I ever supposed to meet this guy and did not feel awkward? And more so, why? I, understandably, lost it, and regretfully lashed out, giving her the ultimatum of him or me. She told me she wasn't going to be controlled, and she only had feelings for me, and still remained adamant that she had dumped him and had no romantic or residual feelings for him. I called BS and said that's great and all, but I now feel humiliated and my self-esteem was suffering from her actions and refusal to own up or acknowledge that any of this was inappropriate or hurtful. I also learned that their friendship, aside video games, talking politics, and business ventures, her words, entailed massages and foot rubs. Yeah, if cuddling wasn't bad enough. Honestly, we've all seen Pulp Fiction, and I don't care if we technically never declared an exclusive committed relationship. This is too freaking inappropriate and emotionally intimate touching to be doing with an ex-lover, especially while claiming you love someone else. In fact, I challenge any person to ask themselves if they'd be cool with their significant other of a 1 year getting cuddles and massages from the ex they were dating at the same time as you. Hell, I'd probably be able to handle it if they were sleeping together again since we technically never discussed exclusivity. But this just screams feelings and emotional chi. And then you're going to seek my intimacy and emotional support, while also claiming to value emotional fidelity and that you love only me? Nah, sis, take a hike. So, I dumped her. She's sobbing and keeps texting that she loves me and pleading to talk to try and make it work, but still determined to keep her friendship. I'm frickin' angry, feeling frickin' humiliated, and want to walk with what little dignity and self-respect I have left. The worst part? She refuses to acknowledge how any of this was wrong. How should I cope or navigate this? Is this dead? Our first bit of advice from Fly Guy says, "This is why I never ever date anyone who dates around, nor do I. You're either plan B or plan A, with someone on the back burner. Pick your poison." That aside, the fact that you both dated around for 10 months prior to being exclusive is a red flag. I live by the motto that actions speak louder than words. Next bit of advice from Fulgerts55. You were option B. Even though she chose option B, forced by circumstances, she left the door open and still doesn't want to give up option A. One more from Terser78. Wow, what a walking red flag. No partner in their right mind would see this as healthy behavior. She chose you because she was rejected by the other person, and continues a relation now that involves sharing intimacy, massages and cuddling her intimacy. Sorry, that's physical cheating. She's a broken person. Don't let her break you any further. Get to know contact fast. This person is in their 30s. They're old enough to understand exactly how inappropriate their behavior is. Moving on. Wife cheated for 15 years of her 35-year marriage. Got confirmation a few months ago. I posted and cheated on and was told to tell my story here. So here's a full story. My wife and I have known each other since we were 4 years old. Her father and my father played football in high school together, and my father was the best man at her father's first marriage. We played together as kids and lived only 2 blocks apart. My family had an antique business, and her family often came to the shows. Lisa would say she came to find me, and we would walk around the grounds together. In 7th grade, her parents divorced and she moved with her mother, so I only saw her at the antique shows with her mother. We still walked around with each other. We met up in high school again and she had a boyfriend. She still flirted with me at antique shows when she was not with her boyfriend. So when she broke up with her boyfriend in our junior year, I asked her out. We dated for 3 months. She asked me to have sex with her, and I said no, as I believed we needed to wait until we were married. One night, during a date at the fair, she said she was staying at the fair, so I went home. A couple weeks later, she let me know she hooked up with a carny and became pregnant. I told her I would help her, but she said she would take care of it, as she was not ready for a steady relationship. We obviously broke up. We kept meeting at antique shows where she would ask me to walk around with her. She even started helping my parents as a ticket taker when my parents started running shows. My wife continued to flirt with me despite being with various boyfriends. I went off to college after graduating. When I was home one Christmas myself for a year, I ran into her and she asked for a ride home. I took her home and we talked. She again flirted with me and tried to get more physical, but I still told her no. I went home and she called me a couple days later. I called her a couple weeks later to ask her to help out my mom as a ticket taker, and she told me she couldn't, as she just had a baby. She asked me to come up. I went to her house and saw her and the baby. She confessed that she had always loved me, but she always thought I was too good for her. We talked and started dating again. After a year of dating, she broke down and told me if I really loved her, I would have sex with her. I figured we were engaged, so it was okay, and then 2 weeks later, she told me she was pregnant. At the time, one of her male friends asked my wife if the kids was his. I thought it was a bad joke, but after all that happened, I'm not sure anymore. We got married and I adopted her daughter. I thought we had a happy relationship. Everyone said we were the perfect couple, and her girlfriends said how lucky she was to have me to take care of her. After 7 years, her father died and we were moving to a new state for work. She contacted the same carny she slept with when we were in high school and started cheating with him. She created elaborate lies, and after we moved to the state, she moved out to live with him. We both saw divorce lawyers, and basically, I was told I would lose my kids. After 4 months, he kicked her out because he did not like her lack of basic housekeeping skills or having to take care of her children. She apologized and said she was so sorry, so we got back together. She was again pregnant with his child. We kept this information from everyone. We moved again, and after about 5 years, one of her friends started cheating on her husband and introduced my wife to online hookup sites. My wife denied going on the sites, but when I found her email that she was using and looked it up, she admitted that she was on the site, but she denied having any affairs. She was just there to chat about S&M, because I was not into that. We moved again, and I suspected she was cheating several times. One time, when we were moving again, she stated she was stressed and needed to go stay with a friend. I told her not to leave, and that I needed her help with prepping for the move as we had to be out the next day. She kissed me, told me she loved me, and then left. I found out 3 months ago that she left to go sleep with another man. I did everything, and we were able to move again. I found another hidden email account of hers, and when confronted, she admitted to being on the site but denied cheating. I told her to open it up and let me read it, then to confirm she is just talking. She said no, so I packed my stuff and walked out the door. Our youngest daughter came running and begged me not to leave, so I went back in the house. My wife and I went to counseling a couple of times. 3 months ago, we had a fight. She admitted to being on online sites for 8 years. I made a comment asking how many men she slept with. If it was once a year, it was 8. If it was one a month, it was 96. If it was one a week, it was 416 men. She responded without thinking that it was just 2, not counting the carny I knew about, so it was not that bad. This is when I found out that she left me to sleep with a guy when I, the family, needed her help to move. She said she had not cheated on me in 13 years, so I needed to get over it. So I know that 2 of my 4 children are definitely not mine biologically, and possibly a third is not mine biologically, and then my wife cheated on me over a 15-year period with 3 men, and they were long-term relationships that ended due to us moving. She claimed to not have cheated in over 13 years. I stayed before because of the kids. I didn't want them growing up in a slum or not being taken care of. I did all the cleaning, cooking, tucked the kids into bed when they were little, and generally took care of them. Could still help them out financially even though they're adults. They are now all out of school, so it is just my wife and I. Though our youngest son, the one she had while cheating with her carny lover, and his wife and kids moved in with us due to losing in his apartment and job. I am gutted that she could do this to me when I was the perfect husband. She even said I was perfect, and when I asked why, all she ever says is, "I don't know." I suspected all this time and stayed, but now that I know, I want to walk away. She's the only woman I ever slept with, and I worked hard to have that fairy tale life that everyone who sees us thinks we have. However, it is all a facade. I feel I wasted all my love and devotion to a woman who will just as easily find another guy and never have another thought about me. Our first reaction comes from Miriam. "I am so sorry. If I were you, I would tell her to leave. Some think you have a house full of people who love you. You stayed for the kids. You have a big loving heart. Read Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life, and Wizard of Oz and Other Narcissists. Find a therapist. After a few years, thank yourself for all the beautiful things you've done and the strength you now have." XYZ89C1 chimes in. "Of course you must end it with her. She has zero respect for you. The kids must be notified, but the balls land where they will. This is her issue." Next up from Mongoose Loud. "She's never once suffered consequences for any of her actions. From the very beginning, when you were kids, you've been the easy fallback option. Why should she change now?" I'm going to say there's a pretty strong guarantee that she only admitted a small percentage of what she'd actually done. And I'm going to guess that you already know that. Our last comment comes from Sinatra, of course. "OMG. OMG. You lost your life to her. You'll keep losing if you don't break up with her. How she's going to live. She's never respected you.